Roz, how we get around Chicago has changed quite a bit over the last 3 decades, and Roz has been there for it all.
Our own historian, right?
And I love having that position, too. Let me tell you, because I have covered so many of these stories from the Chicago Department of Transportation. 2 major construction projects, a lot of bike lanes, and a street turned into a mall, turned back into that great street. Take a look.
The biggest change in city transportation over the past 30 years began with a shift in attitude.
In the 1980s, everything was very auto-oriented, and our streets were designed to carry as many cars as possible, as fast as possible, to get them to the expressways.
Safety became a priority with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990. Intersections had to have ramps. Today, they also include domed pavement and audible traffic signals.
Walk sign is on for all crossings.
State Street became that great street once again in 1996 when it reopened to traffic after 16 years of only allowing buses along the State Street Mall. In the early 90s, federal money became available for other forms of transportation, and the Mayor's Bicycle Advisory Council was born. Today, there are over 300 miles of bikeways, as well as protected bike lanes. In 2013, Divvy came into the picture with 750 bikes. Now, there are more than 6,000. Protected bike lanes were also a part of the Loop Link, exclusive bus lanes to more efficiently move Loop bus traffic. Federal funds also helped to create the 606 Elevated Trail in 2015. Another gem, the Chicago Riverwalk. The idea of a riverfront promenade actually dates back to Daniel Burnham's 1909 plan of Chicago. That's a little before my time. More recently, the reconstruction of Wacker Drive was also the beginning of today's Riverwalk. The Wacker Drive reconstruction was so big and expensive, it had to be done in 2 parts. The original east-west structure was rebuilt in the early 2000s.
It had a big impact because Wacker is the circulator that gets vehicles around downtown and allows them to get to the bridges in and out of downtown, as well as to the expressway network.
Because of the high impact, Wacker was never fully closed. It was built 1 block at a time and reopened the same way. The first section right here between State and Dearborn. The north-south portion of Wacker was originally built in the 50s and wasn't in as bad of shape, so it wasn't rebuilt until 2012. Other major cdot accomplishments, the museum campus project in the late 90s.
What we did was shift the northbound lakeshore lanes over to the west, so they were immediately adjacent to the southbound lanes, freeing up land to the east to develop a campus for the museums.
South Lakeshore Drive also got a rebuild from McCormick Place to 67th Street in the early 2000s, and in 2013, it was extended from 79th to 92nd Streets along the site of the old U.S. Steel South Works.
Wow. A lot of vacant land out there. North Lakeshore Drive is the next big construction project CDOT is going to tackle, but the city is still in the initial stages of the environmental impact study, and what they told me, they're thinking construction isn't going to begin until about the 2020s.
All right.
It'll be a while.
Yeah. So when we're celebrating 40 years at ABC7.
Well, maybe you guys will be celebrating 40 years.